interim minister at First Congregational Church in Port Washington, Wisconsin. Here with you again for another Gap Chat. A little conversation between you, the congregation, and me, the interim minister, on issues having to do with interim ministry and what that means to be the one standing in the gap. Well, when it comes to interim ministry, we have many parts at play. One part, of course, is that we have a search committee, and don't you think that we have a debt of gratitude to pay to those who are led by Joe Miller and others from our church who have done the heavy lifting in terms of looking for that next new settled minister that we'll have. That's an important piece of the work, but certainly not the only piece. You see, this period of time when churches go through a pastoral change in leadership is not just about finding the right minister, the new one that takes over in the pastoral leadership, but perhaps as importantly, it's about, are we becoming the right congregation? You see, there are important questions that we in the church need to address that the new settled minister can't answer for us. Questions like, are we doing what's necessary in this period of time between our old settled minister and our new settled minister? We are the church, of course, and ministry doesn't happen without us. Are we fulfilling our great commission to be disciples and to make disciples in the world? Are we fulfilling our calling, and are we making an impact on the community in Port Washington? That's an important question. Another important question is, what ministries do we want our new settled minister to participate in with us? You see, some churches make the mistake of thinking that what they need to do is just hire the best new minister they can. And of course, she or he will go out and do ministry in our name. But that's not really how it goes, nor is that, to be very honest with you, very fulfilling. As I said, we are the church, and no one can take that role for us. So every church has a certain personality. Let me put it that way. Every church has a certain emphasis. Some is on education, and they may want a minister that helps fulfill that calling to be a church that educates people about the faith. Others are very passionate about meal programs and feeding the hungry. Some are very involved in justice issues. There's all kinds of particular emphases that churches take on. But it's important that when we go looking for a new settled minister, that we not just look for the one that has the greatest resume, but the one that has the best fit for doing ministry with us in our certain place, in our community where we are planted. Another question, and it's a difficult question, is, are there any historical patterns over the last number of years that we need to grow beyond? Let me give you one that I've noticed about our church in Port Washington. We had a pastor, Pastor Jeff, who was very, very much committed to the congregation. And in fact, he was so committed that he did just about everything around the church. Well, one of the things that we're learning is that as the church, it's important for us to pick up that mantle, to take on the responsibilities, to fulfill our calling as being the church as well, instead of just letting Jeff do it all. Jeff did everything from changing the candles and organizing the liturgies and raising funds and seeing to the remodeling and all of that. Jeff apparently enjoyed doing that, and he was very good at it. But that doesn't mean that the new settled minister will have interest in doing that, and maybe there's something of a calling to us that now that we look for a new era, a new time of leadership, that personality that we had where Jeff used to do it all, maybe that changes now and we take on more of our parts. You'll remember that Paul talked about the various parts of the body, and what he said to us, or what he said to the church in Corinth, was that everybody had a part to play. It's like being in a symphony, isn't it? That if you played trombone, when you get to that section and you've got that piece where the trombone player stands up and does a little riff, well, what if the trombone player doesn't do that? It's not like the other instruments are going to jump in and do that. We have to do the same thing. We have to play our part. And that's the exciting thing, because as the church, the more that we all participate in playing our parts, the more beautiful it all becomes, because we all have gifts and talents that are to be used. So I just came today to ask you a few questions. Number one, are you enjoying your summer? How's your garden going? How's your garden growing? Is it good? Is it a successful season? But also, is this a successful season when it comes to this time of transition? Are we being the church? Are we taking on our responsibilities for ministry? And are we looking not just at ministers to come be a part of things with us, but are we looking at ourselves and trying to examine where we can grow to become that better church when the time comes that we welcome our new settled minister? Are you ready? Have we done our work? Are we prepared to say hello and come join us? It's a very exciting time at First Congregational Church, and I hope that things are going well in that search, just as well as they're going well in that self-reflection. This is Jim McKenzie, interim minister, saying stay well, stay healthy, stay faithful, and we'll see you next time right here in the Gap.